Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches a todos. It warms my heart to see everyone here today. Hi. Oh, hi. We have our sign language interpreter. Name?
My name is Sean.
Sean. Say thank you to Sean. Thank you, Sean, for being here with us tonight. So it warms my heart to see all of you here today, and I am especially excited and humbled by the turnout for Somerville's first ever Juneteenth flag racing ceremony. Yes. We can keep it to the, I like to do this too. I want to keep my remarks brief. We are gathered here to honor and commemorate Juneteenth. This day in 1865, word reached Texas about the emancipation of the slaves 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was passed. While slavery in legal theory may have ended that day, the importance of Juneteenth is to recognize the struggle for freedom and equality that has continued even till present day. Juneteenth reminds us of the ongoing fight for equity, justice, dignity, and healing. It has strengthened our people with resilience and perseverance beyond measure. I am proud to share this moment with you all. This ceremony embodies recognition of centuries of oppression that Black Americans have endured. The systems and structures that make our country, state, and city the way that they are by advantaging some and disadvantaging others. This is an opportunity for all of us to reaffirm our commitment to freedom and equality, not just through recognition, but through action. The fight ahead is long and tiresome, but in pairing events like these with real meaningful work that centers Black voices, experiences, and perspectives, I know that we can create tangible and long-lasting change. The legacies of slavery and discrimination manifest throughout our society today. Work that seeks to undo these systems and dismantle systemic racism begins and ends with transparency and community engagement, centering those who are impacted and experience it. I want to focus on the partnership and community here tonight. Those of you familiar with the Department of Racial and Social Justice may already know about some of our ongoing initiatives and work that centers and elevates community, work that brings your voices to the forefront on issues like policing, public safety, anti-violence, and creates enduring spaces and places for Somerville residents of all ages and walks of life to get involved. Please feel free. Please be empowered and encouraged to bring your ideas, concerns, or suggestions to myself or any of my amazing RSJ staff. If you can raise your hands, there you are. All of whom are here in attendance. If you want to get involved in the racial justice work in Somerville or learn more about what our department is doing, host a cultural celebration or education event in your neighborhood, attend an accessibility or disability access focus group, or bring a concern of yours to our attention, know that we are here. We are ready and excited to work with you and the Somerville community to walk boldly, hand in hand, towards a brighter, more just future. Lastly, I want to reflect on the histories of racism and slavery that can weigh heavily on the soul. We have to seek out and find ways to restore our spirits and heal. As much as we focus on action and the fight for equality, I hope you will also join me tonight in focusing on healing. Healing through song, poetry, ice cream, from Somerville's Black-owned Tipping Cow, right over there. Thank you. And be in joyous solidarity. So without further ado, I am honored to introduce our mayor, who has boldly represented social justice in the city of Somerville even before she was mayor. Please welcome Madam Mayor Katjana Ballantyne.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm thrilled that the city has been able to partner with North Shore Juneteenth Association to begin our Juneteenth celebration this year. I'm really looking forward to today's program. I want to thank Denise Molina Capers and Amanda Ningham Williams and the city's Racial and Social Justice Division for putting together this important event. And we've got ice cream courtesy of Gurley and David Lindsay and the Tipping Cow ice cream. That's the cherry on top, and I'm thrilled you're a part of this celebration. I'd also like to recognize that Councilor at Large Willie Burnley is with us today and will also be sharing some remarks. This is a historic moment for our city. Today, we raised the Juneteenth flag for the first time at Somerville City Hall. As we come together to commemorate the emancipation of enslaved African Americans in 1865, the Juneteenth flag is a powerful symbol of Black resilience and freedom, and we fly it proudly. In raising the Juneteenth flag, we affirm unambiguously our continued pursuit of freedom and justice for all. The struggle has been long, centuries long, and still today the legacy of slavery endures. We're facing modern-day institutions that openly embrace hateful policies or that preach progress but resist change. Our nation and our community faces a housing crisis, a mental health crisis, a climate crisis, persistent violence and discrimination against people of color, immigrants, LGBTQ residents, women and girls. And while we pride ourselves in our progressive values here at home, we recognize that Somerville is not immune. But here today, together, we raise the Juneteenth flag to make clear our commitment to racial justice. It's a symbolic gesture, but not an empty one. We have a duty to honor our ancestors and speak loudly in the name of liberation. And I'm so proud we're setting a new tradition to do just that today. In addition to this powerful symbol, as we celebrate Juneteenth, we uplift powerful stories, not just personal stories. We strive to tell the true story of our nation. Through our celebration, in telling the story of Juneteenth, we affirm that Black history is American history. We can take this opportunity to confront our country's legacy, and it's imperative that we do. Knowledge isn't static, it's created. And public policies, real decisions about who gets power and who does not, are built on stories we tell about American history. So we must tell it correctly. But we know we have more to do. Embedded into Juneteenth holiday is a call to action. What does freedom and justice for all actually look like? All of our work as a municipality across housing, public safety, education, healthcare, transit, all of it must be designed and delivered with equity at the core. And we continue to advance and expand our work to dismantle systemic racism driven by intensive community engagement with those most directly impacted. We keep that at the forefront of our work today and each day forward. We won't undo centuries of oppression overnight, but we're making progress, as evidenced by your turnout today. Thank you for your partnership in this work and being here to commemorate this historic moment for our city. Now let's keep the celebration going, and I wish you a safe and joyful Juneteenth. I'd like to introduce Counselor at Large Willie Burnley.
Man. Oh man, oh man. Hello, Somerville.
Hello.
There we go. Thank you to the city staff who graciously extended an invitation to me today to speak on this momentous occasion. 158 years next week to the first Juneteenth Jubilee. As the mayor just said, my name is Willie Burnley Jr., and I have the honor to be the sole Black citywide elected official for Somerville as the city councilor at large. And I also happen to be a beneficiary of the Black liberation tradition. I am an inheritor of that, like so many people here, of that fiery resilience and resistance that has been passed down from generation to generation of Black people in this country in the face of adversity and discrimination. I hold that history, the history of my father who grew up in segregated schools in Mississippi, the history of my grandmother who registered Black voters under the cover of night out of fear of the Klan and their enablers, and my ancestors who were who not only went from enslavement but went to sharecropping and into mass incarceration. I hold that history very close to my heart. And it is that history that all of us should hold very close to our hearts. It is at the root of this nation. It is that eternal fight is the soul of America. And we continue that struggle today. And when I look up at this flag, which is incredibly beautiful and meaningful for me, and I know a number of the folks here, I know that that struggle continues today. And I say, blessed be those who struggle. Because it is in the face of that adversity that we become our truest selves, our best selves. We show the world the best values that we hold in our hearts as we fight for our communities. So I want to thank you all for being here and for continuing that fight. It's a fight that we know continues to go on. Race remains the biggest motivator for hate crimes in this country, according to the latest FBI statistics. And anti-Black racism and hate crimes is the largest of those groups at over 30% of registered race-based hate crimes. But that's not the only place we see the echoes of Jim Crow in this country. We see Jim Crow in the poverty that keeps our people burdened by medical debt, by housing, and underwater. We see it in the fact that our labor is undervalued and that we do not see the investments in our mental health and in our communities that other communities do. And we see it in the distortion of Black history around the country as the enemies of freedom ban books and cry about critical race theory and try to undercut the message that the mayor just sent that Black history is American history. It is all of our history. It's a history of fighting for the lowest among us and for justice for all. And so today I would just like to say I'm holding two truths in my heart right now, and I invite you all to hold those truths. That today is a day to celebrate the majesty of Black brilliance, of the same brilliance that gave us the blues and jazz and hip hop and gave my people the strength to not only raise up our voices through the unspeakable, but to sing our sorrows and our rage. I'm holding that with the fact that we must move forward with urgency at the challenges that we still face today and that our communities are demanding more about. And so I hope that each one of you takes a bit of that praxis of the Black liberation tradition of protest and solidarity and holds it in your heart today and moves forward to advance the cause of freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Counselor, for those thoughtful and true words. In planning this ceremony, we partnered with the North Shore Juneteenth Association. The North Shore Juneteenth Association is a group made up of community leaders who seek to create awareness about the Juneteenth holiday, educate the broader community about Black American culture and history, and dismantle racism by using events and programming as a tool for change. At this time, I would love to invite Ogor Winnie Okoye to share a few words.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, sir, Mr. Councilor. City of Somerville, are you here? I am so excited for this first ever flag raising in honor of Juneteenth. This is wonderful. You know, when I hear, my name is Ogor Winnie Okoye. I am from the North Shore Juneteenth, and I want to state categorically that I am a proud Nigerian immigrant. So when I hear the word freed slaves, I hear an oxymoron. Why is that? Because Black people were never slaves. We are people. A people that were put through one of the worst atrocities in human history. Atrocities that have been documented from the start of the Atlantic slave trade to the present day. There is a timeline of unrelenting struggle. Let's get this in perspective. 400 years of slavery, 101 years of segregation, and unceasing years of oppression and so-called freedom. We are here today to celebrate not only the freedom of Black Americans, but Black Americans themselves. Celebrate Black Americans themselves. Juneteenth is a time to take a look at the complex experiences that Black Americans have lived. The realization that we have lived and continue to thrive. It's imperative for us and the world to acknowledge who we are. People who were denied education, people who were denied housing, denied life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness and freedom. And yet, we are still here. Round of applause for that. We are still becoming doctors and lawyers and politicians, graduating from various educational institutions while navigating systemic oppressions the best ways we can. You know, one of the goals of the North Shore Juneteenth Association is to educate the community about why Juneteenth is important and why this holiday should be celebrated. Juneteenth has been celebrated annually on June 9th in various parts of the United States since 1867. That day was recognized, as you know, as a federal holiday on June 17, 2021 by President Joe Biden. It was signed into law by the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act. So this holiday commemorates the 2-year delay enslaved Black men, women, and children in Galveston, Texas experienced before being notified of their freedom. General Gordon Granger, along with Union Army soldiers of color, rode into Galveston, Texas, and announced General Order Number 3, which states, and I quote, "The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with a proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and their slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that of an employer and hired labor. The freedmen are advised to remain quiet at their present homes and continue to work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts and that they will not be supported in idleness, either there or elsewhere, unquote. Imagine hearing of your freedom and being able to own that freedom, knowing that as a person, you have been finally set free from early mornings and late nights of hard labor, or that your body is all of a sudden yours, and that no one had the right to force themselves on you. That news called for celebration. The general order also contained the message of freedom, but it also contained the message of entrapment. Would Black Americans really be supported in this lawful right to be free? Juneteenth is important because it holds the message of freedom. That message is what enslaved Black Americans held onto. They knew they were free, and that the first step was all that mattered. They didn't see the full staircase. They were ready to take it one step at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, look how far we have climbed, and yet we continue to climb. As Americans, we pay into this corporation or institution, if you may, because it's lawful to do so. Although the blood, the sweat, and the tears of our ancestors are proof of the debts that remained unpaid. You know, slavery is always okay to talk about, but to talk about the side effects of slavery is considered taboo. Why is that? I call on you to imagine these for a second. Imagine the loss of knowledge of self. Some Black Americans do not know the history of Juneteenth because this history has been kept away from them through the denial of education and the control over histories that are readily available and those that have to be dug up and brought to the light of the day. Imagine the untraceable family history. There were no passenger lists when enslaved people were taken from Africa, like there were passenger lists for Europeans and European Americans. There were slave logs, but Africans were cargoes, property, chattels. Their names were stripped of them, their language stripped of them, their history stripped from them. Imagine for a second the dehumanization of Black America, which has been going on for centuries, which somehow becomes the norm for both the victor, the victims, as well as spectators. Not only did it become the norm, it became acceptable over time. Imagine the media misrepresentation. Black people are hardworking people. Black people are intelligent people. Black people are kind and loving people. The media does not teach that. Society does not teach that. Even though we don't feel free yet, I feel the power, the strength, the resilience, the intelligence, the beauty of our ancestors, just as the entire world does. Almost 8 billion people on the planet. Let that sink in. 8 billion people on the planet. And the people that are classified as African Americans are a mere speck of that. With 40 to 50 million people. And look how much influence we have all over the world, all over the planet. Our way of dressing, speaking, singing, often mimicked, never imitated, never duplicated by people worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, that shows and proves our power, our strength, our resilience, our intelligence, as well as our beauty. Let us celebrate how far we've come, and yet not lose sight of the fact that we have a long way to go still. And it starts with unity. My name is Attorney Winnie Okoye. I want to acknowledge my brothers and sisters from the North Shore Juneteenth who are here with me. Michelle Poetica, Eva Davenport, Andre Bennett, City of Somerville. Round of applause for you guys. You've done well. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ogor. Is Andre here? Okay. Next, I'd like to invite Ava Davenport and Kevin Dickinson to the podium. Ava will lead us through the Lift Every Voice and Sing, to which you can find on the back of tonight's program. And Somerville resident and U.S. Army veteran Kevin Dickinson will lead us in raising the Juneteenth flag.
Thank you. Thank you. I have my sister, Sassy Destiny, here joining me.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you. You know, this evening would not be complete without acknowledging our very special RSJ coordinator who took something that was an idea and created this amazing vision come to life here tonight. And so I want everyone to please give her the hardest round of applause that you can, because she made this evening possible. She put blood, sweat, and tears into it. Don't tell workers' comp. And she made this happen, and I'm so very proud of her, and I have to acknowledge her in public because this was everything that we could have imagined it could be, and we're just hoping for bigger and bigger things in the future. Our very own RSJ coordinator, Amanda Najim Williams.
Hello, everyone. Greetings. Hello. Forgive me, I'm short, I'm gonna adjust. Thank you, Kevin and Eva, for leading us in our flag raising, for everyone who's spoken. I'll get to everyone, of course. But as Denise has mentioned, my name is Amanda Najim Williams, and I am the coordinator for the Department of Racial and Social Justice. I am honored to be joined by so many community members as we celebrate, honor, and recognize a momentous day in American history. As we celebrate tonight, I encourage you to continuously explore opportunities to get involved, keep learning, and to honor and celebrate the legacy of Black Americans outside of this event. In collaboration with the Somerville Museum, I'm excited to share about two such opportunities. Through July 8th, 2023, the Somerville Museum is hosting the Above and Beyond exhibit. The exhibit showcases the life of Phil Rivas, a Somerville native, Olympian, and the first person of color to be honored with a naming right in Somerville. Organized in collaboration with amazing students from Somerville High School's local history club, the RSJ department has sponsored 50 tickets for those who would like to attend and view the exhibit. Please visit the RSJ table in the back and connect with our community engagement specialist, Leonore, for more information about the exhibit and to receive an admission ticket. Additionally, I would like to highlight and invite you all to attend the reading of Frederick Douglass's famous address, What to the Slave is the 4th of July, at Bow Market on Wednesday, June 28th, 2023, from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Following the reading, those in attendance will reflect on the past and present and engage in conversations with Kiera Singleton, the Executive Director of the Royal House and Slave Quarters in Medford, Massachusetts. The Royal House and Slave Quarters functions as a site of memory. In the 18th century, the plantation was home to the Royals, the largest slave-holding family in Massachusetts. As one of the only remaining freestanding quarters where enslaved people lived and worked in the North, the museum bears witness to their lives, to the intertwined stories of wealth and bondage in pre-revolutionary Massachusetts, and to the resistance and political and legal activism of enslaved and free Black people in the 18th century. For more information about both of these opportunities, please visit the RSJ staff table in the back over there. Lastly, if you had not had the opportunity to do so already, we invite you to enjoy some ice cream from Tip & Cow, a Black-owned and Somerville-based business. There are dairy and non-dairy options available. As everyone else has echoed, I do want to let you know that we appreciate your presence and participation here this evening. A special thanks to everyone who had a hand in making it what it was, from city staff, our DPW friends, our 311 crew, our folks in media. We thank you. To the RSJ staff who've taken on several different roles to make this happen, we thank you. To our community engagement ambassadors who spread the word, our colleagues in Veterans Affairs, we thank you. At this point, I'd like to invite Michelle La Poetica Richardson, who will close out our program with a program. Michelle?
Hello, beautiful people. Let me adjust real quick. Let me take a moment and ask you to please look around and look at the diversity in this crowd right here, right now. And understand that the change is happening, but it's not here yet. There's still work to be done. And I stand here as a poet, as an artist, to tell you that artists are the key holders to this change that is needed. We are the storytellers of life. We are the messengers of love. Through our music, through our craft, did you hear that anthem just now? How did you feel? You might forget their names, but you'll never forget how you felt when they hit them notes in harmony. This is what it's about. As we stand here today in honor of everything that is love and freedom, I ask you to move forward in love and freedom with the intention of loving and freeing everyone around you, no matter what they look like or where they come from. Right now, there's a war happening. There are several pandemics that we're still amidst. One of them happens to be loneliness. One of them happens to be people that are dying and perishing for lack of visibility. We are perishing for lack of light and visibility, for not being heard, for not being seen. And I stand here and I ask you, if my ancestors still walked and still talked to this day, what would they say about the cruel world we now live in? To see all of their sacrifices sacrificed to a world of sin, futures looking grim, lives now trimmed from the exercise of dodging bullets of evil while trying to maintain a peaceful existence. Simple things taken for granted, many a seed planted in soils poisoned by deception. There's no light to bring fruit to conception, much less birth. If your souls could be measured at this point, what would be its worth? For day after day, we seem to take for granted all of the gifts and seeds by life planted, opportunities falling like autumn leaves in the wind. Close your eyes, extend your hand, pull out your shirt, create a basket with your skirt. Dream something, want something, do something. Don't continue to let life pass you by. For since birth, we've seen seconds turn to minutes, minutes to hours, and those hours to days that fly by, waiting for you to embrace that epiphany. Drop blinding cloths and finally see you have and will have until your last dying breath. The opportunity to be a fruit-bearing tree, willing and able to nurture all those in its proximity, but instead, we consciously choose to turn a deaf ear or turn our backs out of fear, knowingly choosing not to be, and unknowingly choosing to become Jesus' tear. What if you knew that your time was near, that someone else's clock was winding down? Would you choose to be an adjective, a verb, or a stagnant noun? Smile or frown, be a prince or a pauper, and would you, could you, should you? Not just wear, but even be allowed to look upon a jewel-bearing crown with the intent to wear it. Tell me now how you see fit that we've lost our belief in love, truth, and loyalty, respect, honor, and affection given genuinely. How easy it is for them to stand there and expect from me when they can't even look in the mirror and see what Jesus would see. The greater good, spiritual Robin Hoods of their dream-robbing capabilities, actually. Mad random, I know. As my thoughts wander to and fro, I ask you, each and every one of you, if you truly knew that the sky was your limit, how tall would you be willing to grow? Now I stand here before you as a woman of color, as a Dominican, because both of my parents were born in the Dominican Republic. I am the daughter, proud daughter of immigrants to this country that worked real hard to get everything they had. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest pandemic that we're dealing with today is hate, period. Because there would be no racism, there would be no cruelty, there would have never been no slavery if love reigned the actions of all. Because love does not hurt and injure with intention. Love does not do that. Love does not do that. Love does not work like that, but love does win. If we all work together, Somerville probably would have never thought that we would have been raising this flag, and you stand there as a beautiful example of the change that is upon us right now, and I love seeing your vibe. Your whole vibe. Look up Kwame. That's who you remind me of. Yes, I'm from the old school era. I stand here and I ask you all again in the name of North Shore Juneteenth, in the name of all that is love and freedom, free yourselves and free your minds. If you do, with love in every form and shape, we will win this war, undoubtedly. Thank you very much. To all of the people that braved the wild frontier to make this happen, thank you. You are brave, you are powerful beyond measure. Mayor, thank you for being you. Thank you for also fighting against everything to make this happen, because we know it's not easy. And if we put aside hate and understand that love is the only way, we will see change happen much more quickly. Thank you.
We can give her some more love than that. So before you all run over to our folks at the Tipping Cow table, we do have one final guest who was originally on the schedule. And you know, sometimes traffic can conspire against us, but Andre Bennett is here, so I'll give him a few minutes to share with you all. Andre?
Good evening. Good evening. All right, sounding a little bit better. I first want to apologize for my tardiness. I have been driving since 4 a.m. this morning, first from Canada, and then I went home to Attleboro, got changed, and the traffic is nothing to play with. Michelle, thank you. It's hard to go after you, but I will try to ride the wave of that energy. My mom's here with me. Mommy, just wave your hand. Yeah, that brave, strong, single mother who raised 5 children, all on her own. And I remember the day when she said enough was enough to my father, who had an abusive temper, and she would not put up with it. At 4 years old, she packed her stuff, she took her kids, and she never looked back. That's the kind of blood, the strength that runs through my vein, the kind of strength that runs through our veins when you look at us, those of us who have an extra touch of melanin. You're looking at strength, the epitome of strength. You see, they took us from our motherland and they pack us inside the belly of a ship. And they took us on a 2-year journey. And some of our folks didn't make it. The ocean, the bed of the ocean hosts their bones. But those of us who made it, they stripped us of our names and our religion. They sold us, and they sent fathers one side and mothers the other side and children the other side. They tried desperately to break us, but we are here. We made it. And even after they did that, we built an empire through our blood, sweat, and tears. You see, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, love without power is anemic and senseless, and power without love is reckless and abusive. Michelle spoke about lovelessness that reigns in the fabric of this nation. I heard Sister Ella said, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes, until the killing of black men, black mother, son is as important as the killing of white men, white mother, son. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. This is not just a flag raising for us. This is not just a piece of material, but it is a symbol of our strength and of our perseverance. I heard Sister Liz Wright said, I don't know how my mother walked her troubles out. I don't know how my father stood his ground, but I do remember And I believe, you see, we keep fighting even when the goalposts keep moving. Hello, somebody. We saw something happen in 2016. This nation took a turn and showed us really who they are and what we meant to them. And we bonded together with the support of our allies, and we said enough is enough. And we elected into office the first woman of color to serve as the vice president of this nation. What we saw happen after that, sweeping legislation that tries to silence our voice. I was listening to, and I know that I'm very late, so I'm going to try and wrap it up. I was listening to a hearing in the House on voting rights, because we know what's happening. We're in an election cycle, all right? And they're trying to keep us quiet, Mayor. They're trying to shut the black folks up. Hello? They're trying to shut those that identify as women. They're trying to shut them down. Hello, somebody. They're trying to do all that they can to take us back to the days when Texas didn't get the news that us black folk was free. And one of the Congress people asked a couple of experts, how many amendments are there that speaks to the right or anything that has to do with guns? And everybody agreed, just one, the Second Amendment. And gun violence is the leading cause of death among our children in this nation. Already we have gone something over 100 mass shootings, and we're not even fully halfway through the year yet. And she continued, she asked, how many amendments are there that deals with voters' right? And I was shocked to find out there are 6 amendments to the Constitution for voters' right and freedom. Yet there is a hearing about voter suppression almost every single month in the United States, the United House of Congress, and there's never any hearing about gun control. Hello, somebody, why am I sharing all of this with you? You see, because our voice is our power, and they know that when we turn out to the polls, things happen. And let me tell you something, be not fooled. Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you, Somerville, for raising the flag. But let me tell you something, it is still a struggle for us black folk, even in beautiful Massachusetts, wonderful, great Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Us black folks are still struggling. Us black folks are still trying to catch up. And every time we think we get one step closer, the doorpost keeps moving. But we who believe in freedom cannot rest until the killing of black men, black mother's son is as important as the killing of white men, white mother's son, until my gay brothers and sisters have equal rights and justice and protection, until trans people have equal rights and protection, until women have the rights over their own bodies. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. You wonder why I'm shouting like this? Because I ain't talking to you that's sitting here. I'm talking to those that are not here, that choose not to be here, so they can hear that a work has started. Progress has started here, and we ain't going back. We ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. We ain't gonna let nothing turn us around. It's either you join with us or you are against us. And let me tell you something, the Reverend Dr. Andre Bennett of Zion Baptist Church is proud to say, if you stand in our way, we're gonna run you over, because we're not turning back. We're not stepping aside. We are gonna assert our right. As I close, Common, the rapper, and John Legend have a song. One day, when the glory comes, it will be yours. Ban all the books you want to ban. One day when the glory comes, it will be yours. Remove African American studies, AP African American studies from schools, all you want. One day when the glory comes, it will be yours. Talk about critical race theory and what you think and how you feel about it as much as you want. One day when the glory comes, it will be yours. You can do what you want, but one thing you cannot do is erase the history that we black folk, through our blood, sweat, and tears, built this empire. And I dare say, if we can't enjoy it, ain't nobody gonna enjoy it, because we will not stop. No justice for us. There will be no peace for anyone else, because we who believe in freedom will not rest. God bless you.
Let's hear it again for Andre. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Denise Molina Capers. I am the director of the Racial and Social Justice Department. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for coming tonight. Get some ice cream, take some home. We will come back with a stronger, bigger event next year, and we hope to see you here again. Have a great night, and a special, special thank you to our interpreter, Sean. Please give him a hand. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Get home safe.
Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let